Hello everyone, myself Dr. Jyoti Gangurde, Assistant Professor of Zoology, KTHM College Nasik. Students, in previous lecture we already discussed regarding the topic thrombosis and what is meant by thrombosis. Now today we are going to discuss on the pathophysiology of thrombosis. Now here you can see before that, okay, what is meant by thrombosis? So thrombosis, which is nothing but the formation of blood clot. Okay, so this is what the thrombos. Okay, so formation of blood clot. Now such a thrombosis which have a pathophysiology. So they have different roles. Okay, so suppose the human being, okay, which possess the inbuilt system by which, okay, the blood which remain in the fluid state normally and which regulates or which guards against the hazards of thrombosis and hemorrhage. As we already know, the blood which is remain in the form of continuous flowing state. Why? Because the anticoagulants are there and they prevent the stoppage of blood. So, such a blood which continuously flowing. But here, what actually the injury of blood vessel which initiate the hemostatic repair mechanism or a process of thrombosis. Or here what we say is that suppose one can injure, okay, one can injured by means of accidents, okay. So here the three steps are there, okay. So the endothelium injury, okay, suppose the injury at the endothelium region, then that time the second process is what? Alteration of blood flow, and after that the hypercoagulative ability of blood. Okay, now these are the steps or these are the events, okay, when such a injury takes place to person. Okay, now you can see all the steps one by one or the events, okay, of such a thrombosis, okay, or the clotting of blood one by one. Now here the first one, which is the role of blood vessel wall. So what is the role of blood vessel wall? Okay, so here the integrity of blood vessel wall, which is important for maintaining the normal blood flow. Okay, so here an intact endothelium which has the function, okay, now which has the function such as it protects, okay, it protects the flowing of blood from thrombogenic influence of subendothelium. Okay, so here actually it is a protect. Okay, so the first protects the blood from the thrombogenic influence, okay, of the subendothelium. So this is the first role of blood vessel wall. Now after that, such a vessel wall, it elaborates a few antithrombic factors. Okay, so they are nothing but the thrombosis inhibitory factor. Okay, so you know that, okay, thrombosis means what? Clotting of blood. And here the second role of blood vessel wall is what? It elaborates a few antithrombotic factor. Means what? Here which prevents, okay, or which provides the thrombosis inhibitory factors, right? Or antithrombotic factors means what? Which prevents the process of thrombosis, or what we say is that the thrombosis inhibitory factors. Okay, so this is the role of blood wall vessel again. Now after that, here you can see the heparin like substances. Okay, as you know, the heparin, which is anticoagulant, okay, which prevent the stoppage of blood clot. Okay, so heparin, here heparin like substances which accelerate, which increase the action of antithrombin, okay, which prevent the blood clotting. Now here the antithrombin third, okay, antithrombin third, and which inactivates some other clotting factors. Okay, now here heparin like substances, okay, heparin like substances which accelerate, which increase the action of antithrombin third. Okay, antithrombin third factor is the clotting factor. Okay, so here which prevents which increase or accelerate the action of antithrombin, third, and inactivate some other clotting factors. Okay, they inactivate. Okay, they are the precursors. They activate some other clotting factors. Now, after that, the thrombomodulin, which converts thrombin into activator of protein C. Okay, so thrombomodulin, okay, which convert the thrombin, okay, into activator of protein C and anticoagulant. Now after that, again, which inhibitors of platelet, okay, inhibitors of platelet aggregation such as ADPase and PGI2 or prostacyclin. Okay, these are what? These are nothing but the factors. Okay, so here you can see. So here again the role of blood wall vessel is what? The inhibitors. Okay, they inhibit. Okay, of what? The platelet aggregation. So you know the function of platelet. Platelet, they prevent the clotting of blood. Okay, so these cells, they are very important. Okay, they have role directly to the clotting of blood. So here, which inhibit? Okay, the blood wall vessel which inhibit the platelet aggregation. Okay, here the platelet aggregation factors such as what? ADPase or PGI2 or prostacyclin. Okay, so which inhibit to aggregate such a kind of factors. After that, the tissue plasminogen activator which accelerate the fibrinolytic activity. Okay, now here you can see tissue plasminogen activator which accelerate, which increase the fibrinolytic activity. Okay, now after that, here you can see the third role, that is prothrombotic factors. Okay, so here it can release, okay, the blood wall vessels, they can release a few prothrombotic factors which have procoagulant properties. Okay, they have procoagulant properties, or what we say is that thrombosis favoring factors. Such a thrombosis favoring factors. Okay, here the blood wall vessel, they can release a few prothrombotic factors which have a what we say is that procoagulant properties. After that, which includes, okay, a thromboplastin. Okay, such a factors, they include here you can see thromboplastin. Okay, first factor is the thromboplastin or tissue factor which release from endothelial cell. Such a factor, that is thromboplastin. Okay, or it is again a tissue factor which release from endothelial cell. Now the another factor of such a prothrombin, that is the von, actually it is von, okay, VON, von Willebrand factors. So this is again the another factor of prothrombotic factor, that is von Willebrand factor that causes adherence of platelets to the subendothelium. Okay, now after that, the next one, that is platelet activating factor, which is the activator and aggregator of platelet. Now again the another role of blood wall vessel, that is inhibitor of plasminogen. Now here the inhibitor of plasminogen activator that suppress the fibrinolysis. Okay, that suppress the process of fibrinolysis. Lysis, that is the breakdown, fibrino, that is fiber, breakdown of fibers. Okay, so here which suppress the process of fibrinolysis. Now here you can see again the vascular injury exposed to subendothelium connective tissue, okay, such as the collagen fiber, then elastin, then again fibrinonetin, then lamellin, again the glucosaminoglycans, okay, which are the thrombogenic, and they plays a important role in initiating hemostasis. Hemostasis is the stoppage of blood clotting. Okay, stoppage of blood flow or stoppage of blood clotting. Particularly what we say is that the stoppage of blood flow, hemostasis. Okay, So these are the factors. Here what are the factors? Here you can see again collagen, elastin, fibronectin, then lamellin and glucosaminoglycans, okay, which are the thrombogenic and they plays an important role in initiating the process of hemostasis as well as the process of thrombosis. Now, in case of injury to vessel wall, also causes vasoconstriction. Okay, vasoconstriction when if injury takes place to vessel wall, that time, okay, this shows, okay, such a vessel wall causes the vasoconstriction. Okay, here two different phenomena are there. Vasoconstriction means the constriction of blood wall vessel, and vasodilation means the dilation of blood wall vessel. But here in that function, that is role of blood wall vessel, okay, we have the blood vasoconstriction means the constriction of such a vessels, okay. So if the injury to vessel wall which causes the vasoconstriction of small blood vessel briefly so as to reduce the blood loss, right. So the step is what? The vasoconstriction. So due to the constriction of such a vessel, through that region, through that area, the amount of blood which passes which is very low or which is low as compared to the normal flow. Okay, now the endothelium injury is of major significance in the formation of arterial thrombi and the thrombi of heart. Okay, now after that, here you can see a number of factors and conditions may cause vascular injury and predispose of or predispose to the formation of thrombi. Now, such a factors, okay, here the number of factors and conditions, okay, they may cause vascular injury, okay, where the formation of thrombi, and such a factors, okay, discuss here. Such a factors are, here you can see the endocardial injury in myocardial infarction. Okay, now endocardial injury in myocardial infarction. Myocardial, okay, myocardial, cardia which is a cell of heart. Okay, what we say that the tissue of heart, or here myocardial infarction, or what we say that the heart attack. Myocardial infarction, which is nothing but the kind of heart attack. So, or it is not kind, but it is a heart attack. So, the endocardial injury in myocardial infarction, here again in the condition of myocarditis related to heart, again then cardiac surgery at the time of surgery of heart, then prosthetic valves, okay, in case of the surgery of such a prosthetic valves, okay, that time we can see the formation of such a thrombi, okay. Now the second factor is ulcerated plaques, okay, ulcerated plaques in activated atherosclerosis. Now another factor is hemodynamics stress in hypertension. Hemodynamics stress, okay, in hypertension, okay, in case of the high BP. So hemodynamic stress. After that time what happens? Okay, such a formation of thrombi takes place. Now along with that, the arterial disease. If such a arteries, okay, they get, or if suppose the person which suffer from the arterial disease, that time also we can see here the formation of such a thrombi. After that, in case of the patients of diabetes mellitus, where the concentration of insulin which is high, or the sugar level which is high. Now, then endogenous chemical agents such as hypercholesterolemia means the concentration of such a cholesterol which get increased in blood. Okay, that is what the hypercholesterolemia. Okay, and the endotoxins. Okay, now the another factor is exogenous chemical agents such as the cigarette smoking. Okay, which again triggers the formation of such a kind of thrombi. Okay, now this is what about the first, that is first pathophysiology of such a thrombosis is the role of blood wall vessel. Okay. Now after that, the second role, okay, the second role is the role of platelets. Okay, the role of platelets. Now here, following the endothelium cell injury. Okay. Now here in first role, what we can see, if suppose the injury takes place by means of such as some factors or by means of accident, then what happens? Okay, or what are the different medical reasons by which such a formation of thrombi takes place? Now here you can see the second role. Okay, the second role or the pathophysiology. Here the second point is the role of platelets in the process of thrombosis. Okay, now here following here the endothelial cell injury. Okay, the platelet come to play a central role in normal hemostasis as well as in the thrombosis. Here, okay, suppose, okay, such a person, okay, suppose which get injured by means of some things, okay, then here the role of platelet is what? The aggregation of such factors, right, to prevent the blood flow, or what we say is that the process of hemostasis means to prevent the flow of blood. That time what happens here? The sequence, okay, the sequential events are there, okay, the events, okay, such as what? The platelet adhesion, then platelet release reaction and platelet aggregation. Okay, these are the step events. Okay, so we can see all the steps one by one. Now here, in case of platelet adhesion, here the platelets in circulation which recognize the site of endothelial injury and adhere to exposed subendothelial collagen, or this is what? A sort of primary aggregation. Okay, so primary aggregation, here what it includes? The platelet in circulation which recognize the site of endothelial injury, right? So where such a injury takes place, the platelets, they can recognize the region of that particular body, and okay, here they adhere, okay, such a platelets, they adhere to expose endothelial collagen, or here what we say is that the primary aggregation of such a platelets. Now here again the factor, that is one Willebrand factors which is required for such a adhesion. Okay, such a adhesion of factor, that is one Willebrand factor, okay, which is required for adhesion of such a platelets or between the platelets and collagen. Okay, so this is the first step where suppose the person will suffer from injury, so such a platelets, they can recognize the particular region, such a injury region of the body, and the first step is what? They get adhere or exposed, okay, to the subendothelial collagen, or here by a particular factor, that is von Willebrand factor, okay, such a von Willebrand factor, okay, which adhere between the platelets and collagen. Now after that, the normal non-activated platelet have open canalicular system. Okay. Now here with the cytoplasmic organelle. Here the normal non-activated platelet. Okay. Such a platelets, when they get activated, suppose the person which suffer from the injury. Okay. So why? Because which prevent the blood flow, which triggers the process of hemostasis. So here the normal non-activated platelet have open canalicular system with the cytoplasmic organelle include the granules, mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, and now these organelles, they get dispersed throughout the cytoplasm. Now during the early adhesion process, there is dilation of canalicular system with formation of pseudopores, and the cytoplasmic organelles shift to the center of the cell. Now here you can also see in the diagram. Here you can see at the normal non-activated cell, okay, which is a normal cell, and here you can see this such a organelles, they get scattered, and when such a cell, okay, at the early adhesive phase. This is the second phase. Okay, here you can see the early adhesive phase. You can see the formation of pseudopodias, okay, platelet cell which shows the formation of pseudopodias and the cell organelles which get accumulated at the central region of such a platelet cell. Okay, now again we can focus to the second point, that is platelet released reaction. Now here the activated platelets. Now by this way such a platelets they get activated. Now here the activated platelets then undergo release reaction by which, okay, the platelet granules are released. Now such a platelet granules, they are released to the exterior. Okay, and here the again two main types of such a platelet granules they are released. The platelet granules such as the alpha granules and dense bodies. Okay, now after the activation of such a platelet cells, okay, they can release, okay, to the exterior, and where which again shows the two types of, or which can release some sort of granules. Now here such a granules they have again two types. The first one is the alpha granule and second one is the dense body. Now here the alpha granules containing the fibrinogen, then fibrinectin, then platelet derived growth factor, then platelet factor 4 and the cationic proteins. Okay. Now in case of dense bodies which containing ADP, that is adenosine diphosphate, then ionic calcium, then again the serotonin, histamine or epinephrine. Okay. Now as a sequel to platelet activation and release reaction, the phospholipid complex or the platelet factor 3 gets activated. Okay. Now after the activation, okay, at this stage what happens, the phospholipid complex plus platelet factor 3, okay, they get activated, which plays a important role in the intrinsic pathway of the coagulation. Now the third role is the platelet aggregation, or the third event or the step, that is platelet aggregation. Now here in the second step, the primary aggregation of such a platelet takes place. Here the activation of such a platelet takes place by releasing some sort of granules. Okay, such a granules they have again two types, that is alpha and dense granules. They have different cofactors which triggers the further process. And the process, the next step is the platelet aggregation. Now, following the release of ADP, that is adenosine diphosphate, a potent platelet aggregation agent or the aggregation of additional platelet takes place. Or here what we say is that the secondary aggregation of such a platelet takes place. Now this results in the formation of temporary hemostatic plug. Okay, so here temporarily the hemostatic, okay, blood stoppage plug, that is temporarily hemostatic plug formation takes place. Now however, the stable hemostatic plug which is formed by the action of fibrin, then thrombin and here again a factor, that is thromboxane A2. Okay, so these are the factors. Again I told you here the at this stage the secondary aggregation formation takes place, and now by this way and the result of this formation of second aggregation, okay, here the which shows the temporary hemostatic plug. Now here the stable hemostatic plug, okay, first is what, the formation of temporary hemostatic plug, and after the formation of temporary hemostatic plug which form a stable hemostatic plug, and which is formed by the action of the fibrin, then thrombin and thromboxane A2. Okay, these factors they form again a stable hemostatic plug. Okay, now this is what all about the second role, that is role of platelets. Now here you can see in the process also. Okay, so this is the non-activated platelet, then activated platelet, and here you can see the platelet released reaction or which release, what we say is that the product of such a reaction is the secretion of granules. That I already told you, the secretion of granules, again they have two types, alpha and dense granules. Okay. Now here this is what about the role of platelets. Now the next is the, here you can see again, the next is the role of coagulation system. Role of coagulation system. Here the coagulation mechanism, here which can show the intrinsic pathway, extrinsic pathway, then collectively which form the common pathway, and after that the regulation of the process of coagulation. Now we can see all the events one by one. So here in case of, okay, you can focus by simplifying this, you can focus here intrinsic pathway. Now the intrinsic pathway here contact with, okay, the abnormal surface, okay, intrinsic, okay, the abnormal surface, the surface is what, the abnormal. So contact with abnormal surface which leads to the activation of factor, here the clotting factor 12, and the sequential interaction of factors 11, then again factor 9 and factor 8, and finally the factor X, okay, finally the factor X along with the calcium ion or factor 4 and the platelet factor 3, the platelet factor 3, okay, they sequentially, okay, here they sequentially activated, okay, sequentially such factors, okay, they get activated, and finally, okay, what we have here, the calcium ions and platelet factor 3, okay, the blood clotting factor 8, then calcium ions and the platelet factor 3. This is in case of intrinsic pathway where the abnormal surface is there, okay. Now in case of extrinsic pathway, here the tissue damage results in the release of tissue factor or thromboplastin, okay, the release of thromboplastin. So the tissue factor on interaction with cofactor 7 which activates the factor 10, okay. So here you can see this is the factor 10. Here again, by in this intrinsic pathway, okay, here suppose such a tissue which get damaged, now which can at that time, okay, the factor, which factor is released, that is the factor 8, okay, the factor 8 which get activated, and sorry, here the factor 8 which activates the factor 10, okay. Now here by this both, that is intrinsic pathway and extrinsic pathway, what we have the product, that is in the common pathway, the factor 10, okay. So this is the, now we can come to the common pathway, here the 10, okay, the common pathway which begins with both intrinsic and extrinsic pathway which converge to activator factor 10, okay. So which convert the activator factor 10 which forms a complex with factor, again here you can see the factor 5A and platelet factor 3, okay. Now in the presence of calcium ion, here you can see factor 5, calcium ions and platelet factor 3. Now here commonly the product of both this pathway is the factor 10, okay. Here you can see the 10 factor along with here you can see calcium ions and platelet factor 3, okay. Here the next step is what, the formation of prothrombin, okay. Now here you can see this complex, okay, activate the prothrombin. Here you can see this complex, right, which activate the prothrombin factor 2. Prothrombin is the main factor which prevent the, or here such a prothrombin, okay, or the factor 2 which convert the fibrinogen to the fibrin, right? So here you can see prothrombin which convert first to the thrombin and such a thrombin, okay, here which convert fibrinogen to the fibrin or the fibrin monomer. Now here you can see the such a fibrin which split into the form of its product. Okay, now this is what about, or finally here you can see in the presence of the blood clotting factor 8 and the calcium ions, the end product is what? The fibrin split products. Okay, now this is what about the intrinsic pathway, extrinsic pathway and common pathway. Now after that here you can see the next point is what? Regulation of coagulation. Now the regulation of coagulation system, okay, where the blood which is kept in fluid state normally and coagulation system kept in check by controlling the mechanism. Okay, now the coagulation process which is under the control or which is under the check, okay, but here the two mechanisms are there, or the mechanisms are there, which are mechanisms are protease inhibitor and fibrinolytic system. Okay, after that tissue type and urokinase like. Okay, so we can see the points one by one. So first is what? Protease inhibitor. So such a protease inhibitor which act on the coagulation factor so as to oppose the formation of thrombin. Suppose example, that is antithrombin 3, then protein C1, then inactivator, then alpha 1 antitrypsin, then alpha 2 macroglobulin. Now here what? Which oppose the formation of such a factors. Now here the second point is fibrinolytic system. Here a plasmin, a potent fibrinolytic enzyme which is formed by the action of plasminogen activator on plasminogen present in the normal plasma. Now here two types of plasminogen activators are identified. The plasminogen activators here such as tissue type, that type plasminogen activator which derive from endothelial cells and leukocytes. Now here what the plasminogen? Two type of plasminogen we can derive. Here the first one is the tissue type plasminogen A. Okay, so here you can see tissue type or urokinase like. So the tissue type plasminogen, okay, which is derived from the endothelial cells and leukocytes, that is white blood cells. And the second type of such a plasminogen activator is the urokinase like. Okay, urokinase like. So which is present in the plasma. Okay, the first type tissue type which is present in the leukocyte or the endothelial, second type which is found in the plasma. Now here plasmin so form. Okay, here the formation of plasmin from plasminogen, formation of plasmin takes place. Here the plasmin here which is formed, which is acting on the fibrinogen. Okay, and to form fibrin, or here such a plasmin form which act on the fibrin to destroy the clot and produces a fibrin split products. Okay, so at the end such a clots, okay, whenever the injury is there, okay, at that region, okay, first the aggregation of platelet, primary aggregation takes place, after that the activation of platelet takes place, after that such a platelets they release some sort of granules. Okay, now the third step is the formation of secondary aggregate. Now after that the activation of such a clotting factors, different clotting factors. Okay, along with that by a pathway, that is both intrinsic and extrinsic pathway, a common product is formed. Okay, that is what the fibrin split product. But how? Here by means of plasminogen, okay, here such a plasminogen by a different kind of its activator which form plasmin. Such a plasmin here which can break, okay, which can act on the fibrin on fibrinogen. Now such a fibrin, okay, or collectively what we say is that the here such a plasmin which acting on a fibrin or such a blood clot, okay, to form the fibrin into split products, okay. So this is what the fibrinolytic system, okay. So the another part, okay, we'll discuss in next lecture. The parts such as hypercoagulability of blood, then alteration of blood flow, and again here the various types of thrombosis, okay. We can discuss these points in next lecture.